Hey, good morning. I'm here at my studio and I will do a small 360 now what the camera sees all around, starting from now. And back to me. So today we're gonna do some kind of a Q&A, questions and answers of your questions you have been sending to me in Facebook and YouTube or wherever. So let's go now. A bit of coffee. Okay, let's see. Vlad wants to know, what photography contest do you recommend for a photographer like me? Like you. So I have written a blog about these the competitions I take part of. So I take part of these more or less like a professional competitions where you pay for a fee to get in. There's at least 5 to 6 different competitions I take part of yearly. One is the International Photography Awards, IPA. Then there's International Color Awards, ND Awards, FAP, it's an association for the Europe Photographer of the Year competition, PX3. So there's at least a few of these that you could definitely try out. I think some kind of a cool portraits or something like that, different. Just start making those pictures to the competitions. And I can, you know, if you want, just send me the pictures and we can kind of review them together, what might be good for these competitions. Vlad also asks, should he get better glass, like a better lens on DX, or upgrade to full frame as soon as possible? Lens is really important. So if I change from full frame to crop sensor, I would invest your money on the lens. Jonas, hey Jonas, wants to know about my short-term and long-term goals for this YouTube channel and also to my creative career. YouTube channel, I just started this and we will know where it takes me, and I will definitely try to post interesting stuff and something special, kind of see where it takes me. And of course I will try to build the base of you guys over there, just so we have an interaction and a conversation, and I will know what kind of stuff you would like to know, because of course I have plenty of techniques and stuff I could tell, but I need also the feedback from you guys, what you want me to show. On my creative career, at the moment it's kind of divided into 2 phases. One part I'm doing a lot of education on online stuff, but also live workshops. So that's another part of my also creative career, but the other one is doing commercial, and I tend to kind of stick with what I know best, to create stories around these images, make the impossible possible. So that is moving on its own way, and I think I'll have at the moment a nice divide between the education part and the photography gigs, commercial stuff that I'm doing. Anton is asking how much time it takes to compose and retouch artwork in Photoshop. It is a huge range so it might take from few hours to few days, so it depends on the picture. I have done Photoshop for 23 years, so I'm reasonably fast with and I have my own old school techniques, and so it depends. There's no certain time amount. Mostly Lightroom or Photoshop, using actions, presets, or maybe LUTs. My workflow starts from Lightroom. I do the color grading, all the retouching and color grading in Photoshop, but then I come back to the Lightroom and I do the smallest last tweaks in Lightroom, because I can do variations with my other copies to check out if something works better. So it starts from Lightroom, Photoshop color grading, and then the small last tweaks in Lightroom. And Anton also asks if I'm coming to Tallinn soon. Yes, I will be having a workshop there in January or February, so you'll be there to meet me and shake my hand. Ari wants to know where I'm making those lens flares in my pictures. I have some kind of a variation of lens flares bought from stock sites and stuff like that, so I'm using those. Johanna wants to ask what kind of process I have when I'm doing pictures from planning to final product. So basically I do a lot of planning with my images. I do mood boards, I do sketches, I try to come up with original concepts, and basically I will see the end result already in my head in the idea stage, and then it's really easy for me to shoot and then to retouch accordingly. So I spend more time on planning and retouching than basically the photo shoot, because I try to pre-visualize my pictures beforehand. Mika asks how it felt to receive the gold medal in World Cup in illustrative category, and it was definitely really amazing time to be in Japan. And of course it has opened some of the doors in the education side and more cooperation with companies. And Mika also asked what has been the best doors that it has opened. So I think there's 3 companies that has been together with me since and even before. But Chromalax is one of these companies that I do a lot of stuff and more after, of course, the WPC medal. I use their prints. Coilab is the one I'm their ambassador now. I'm using their printed portfolios. I will have a separate talk about these portfolios. Adobe is a big thing. I'm starting to be some kind of a part of their educational stuff. You will be seeing me more doing also stuff with Adobe. Kasperi and Sauli is asking my favorite gear. And actually my camera is taking this video at the moment, so I'm using Fuji X-T2 as my go-to camera, and that is a 16 to 55 millimeter lens, f2.8, and I have the other 56 millimeter 1.2 lens. But that's my go-to camera at the moment. Flashes, I use Elinchrom ELBs on location, usually 2 generators and Elinchrom light modifiers. So that's my basic tool. I think I'll cover some of those more tools later on. Edgar wants to know what I consider to be a photography. There's a lot of stuff done to the images by retouching, and I've always said that I consider myself, for example, more of a digital artist than a photographer. By heart, I'm a photographer, but my tools are digital, and I'm an artist because I've tried to develop my own style. So for me, it's easier to say that I'm a digital artist than a photographer, even though I definitely consider myself also being a photographer. And it doesn't matter what your term is to use, photography or digital art or art. You have to decide and what works for you. It doesn't matter what the others think. There's always purists that think that photography is something that you almost have to do analog cameras and you cannot retouch the pictures. That's not for me. I'm all digital. I'm retouching my pictures, and I call myself as a digital artist. So that's it. So thank you for these questions. I'll look forward for your next batch of questions. Send me questions in Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You can find me everywhere. So until next time, have a great one.